so today we're going to make it like a stained glass foil piece. So you're going to need like a heavier cardboard. This is pulled off of the back of some paper, and it is a little thicker. But you can use anything. You can use cardboard that's fairly heavy, some yarn, and a fairly medium to a thicker yarn, not a really thin yarn, foil, markers, some glue, water, scissors, a little stir stick, and some tape to get started. So I have a container here with some glue already in there. So I don't have really measurements. It's dependent on how much yarn you'll probably work with. And you're just gonna mix up a little bit. I would add a little bit of water at a time to the glue, just because you don't want to get it too watery, but you still don't need it really thick of glue. So once you have your glue at a pretty decent consistency, you can just kind of look at it. I think that looks pretty good. You can stop stirring, and then you can cut some yarn depending on how much you want to use on the length. It could be depending on the size of your board too. So you're going to take your yarn, you're going to cut it off, you're going to dip it in the glue. This part gets messy. I do have some wipes. You're gonna you don't want to make it dry, because you can squeeze enough of it out there. It gets a little too dry, but you want to at least leave it wet. And then you're gonna pull it off and onto your board. And you can create any kind of picture you like. Or any shapes. You could do hearts like this. You could do a bunch of circles. I just kind of like the abstract. And then the end, I'm going to line it up into another part of the string. And you want them quite large. You don't want them too close together when you're creating. So once you have this all down, you can it doesn't matter, you can wipe up some of the extra glue that has drizzled around the board, on the board and stuff. Give it time to dry. It could take up to 24 hours, or it could take a few hours, just depending on your yarn and how much glue you have left in it. So I have a piece here that's already dried, and I'm going to take some foil, and I am just going to pull out enough to, I know that will cover the back. And it doesn't really matter what side you use. So what I'm going to do is rub my fingers kind of down around the yarn. This helps because if you fold it around the back before you do this, sometimes the foil will tear. So if you get it too tight. So I found this process kind of works the best. Just gives that little extra foil in some areas. And you have to be careful too once you start coloring, especially around the foil and joints of the yarn. It can tear. You just have to be a little careful with that. I would say that's fairly good. So I'm going to flip it around to the back side. Now this piece I use is the back of a picture frame. You can also use those. So once you're done with your picture, you can put it up on a stand. So I'm going to fold the foil on the back side. I'm going to turn this side down a little because of the here. Now, the foil should stay alright, but I like to reinforce it a little bit, so you can add a little bit of tape. So now, I'm ready to color. I want to talk to you, lighter colors, and I'm using Sharpies. Sometimes lighter colors don't show up as well. And what I have done is, if it's not as rich of a color that I'd like, I color it and I wait a while for it to dry, and then I always go back and add another layer of color. So all you want to do when you're coloring, you can just go around the edges of the yarn that you have down. And yeah, you just want to be a little careful. Now you can color the ridges from the yarn if you want. I kind of go around them, and then you could also take a special color. You could do a black or your favorite color and go around and do the, I'm going to use a black, and I kind of wait till the end, but I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. I just go around where the relief part, the yarn sticks up a little more. I just like that little division. And then you can just go on to a different section. So if you're following with us, I'm going to stop now and you can complete your coloring of the final piece. And it looks like a stained glass picture. Very easy to do. You should have most of the supplies at home. And it's a lot of fun.